Manx Radio Sport.
On that right side and straight into the goalkeeper's hands, but first sort of attacking move by either side really, and FC Isle of Man certainly with Holly Jackson in there causing a threat.
Crook under this for FC Isle of Man, his header in field, and there's Haydock with the challenge. Lewis Haydock tries to feed it to the edge of the box. Play goes on here. Chance here for Louis Holt and Charnock Richard have scored. Inside 8 minutes, the visitors lead and FC Isle of Man trail again on home soil. FC Isle of Man 0, Charnock Richard 1. And it was Lewis Haydock, the captain, who won it back with a robust challenge in the centre of the park. FC Isle of Man were claiming for a free kick. The referee, Matthew Pointer, wasn't interested. He arrows a perfect through ball right to the edge of the FC Isle of Man penalty area. It's a lovely first touch by Louis Holt, who just took it in his stride, and one-on-one with Adam Killier slams it into the back of the net. Tony, a couple of half-hearted appeals from FC Isle of Man for a free kick, but I don't think they're going to get any joy with that. The Ravens trail.
I think it was a little bit wishful thinking, but it was the first touch, wasn't it, when it came into Holt, and he just turned it so well, and then suddenly Adam Killier's under pressure, and you can't do anything. He's so close and so square to him, and fired it past the keeper, and there's all sorts of inquests going on now defensively.
Two FC Isle of Man players for company. There's Davis again with the short pass backwards around 5 yards. Back to Marcus Haydock here just inside the FC Isle of Man half. Back down the left, Matthew Davis with a chance again to turn up against Holly Jackson here. Witches the goal. Holt! Header off the crossbar! May fall out here to Fenton Davies. His header towards goal rolls wide of the right-hand post, and it's an FC Isle of Man goal kick. But Louis Holt there nearly had his second of the game. Really well worked down that left-hand side. Once again, it's whipped into the box. Louis Holt at the near post gets in above his marker. And with Adam Killier rooted to the spot, Tony, it crashes off the woodwork.
That was some header. Good cross as well. It was good pace on the cross. So the header just, unfortunate for him, just hit that bar, came back out. But there's another warning down that left-hand side. Not necessarily hitting hope, but just try and get it down the wing, right-hand side, Steve Whitley mainly, and see if they can cross it in, and one of the boys are there.
FC Isle of Man are advancing into the Charnock Richard half with Callum Sherry. Skip past a couple of challenges. Bit of space on the right edge of the box. Clips that into the centre. There's Luke Booth arriving and clips it over the bar. Closest FC Isle of Man have come to an opportunity in front of goal so far. Callum Sherry, it was all his work down the right. He skipped past a couple of challenges, saw the late run of Luke Booth into the box. He clipped it to around the penalty spot, and Luke Booth, the bounce just wasn't quite right from Tony. He ended up getting under it and scooping it over the top of the crossbar.
Should have been 1-1 because Luke Booth's a centre forward and came in on his left foot, and you fancy his chances there. What a great run by Callum Sherry down that right hand side. He spotted the space, he went over, a cross was in, and that should have been in. So Luke will be disappointed big time with that one.
Maybe the argument from Jacob Crook will be better safe than sorry. But it's a Charnock Richard corner. Luke Power over this, right-footed outswinger from the right-hand side. Can they add to their lead before the break? Goes low to the near post, cleared by Jacob Crook all the way to the halfway line. And chasing that this time is Marcus Haydock. Looks up and wants to knock a long ball out to the left edge of the box. Louis Holt's going to get there ahead of the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. Holt and Charnock Richard have their second. FC Isle of Man 0, Charnock Richard 2 as we approach half-time. Marcus Haydock, after FC Isle of Man had cleared the corner, lofted it all the way to the left edge of the box. Rising highest, running onto it. He beat Adam Killier, the FC Isle of Man goalkeeper, for pace. Nodded it over Killier, who was committed. And it just bobbles into the back of an empty net. Actually, just a correction. In fact, it was Shay Stansfield who got the goal in the end. So not Louis Holt who got the opener. So Shay Stansfield has got the second for Charnock Richard there. Right-footed arrows that towards the FC Isle of Man penalty area. That will be the last action as Adam Killier collects. Half-time in the NWCFL Premier Division. FC Isle of Man 0, Charnock Richard 2. And what has been a lacklustre affair from an FC Isle of Man perspective. Here's Sam Baines now. Charging down the left-hand side up against Luke Power and Fenton Davies here. Forced back a couple of yards down by the corner flag inside Charnock Richard territory. Back to Crook here. Head down up against Luke Power here. Crook goes back to Sam Baines. Onto his right foot. Wants to lift that into the area. Sean Dawes' header deflected and in. And FC Isle of Man have a route back into the contest. FC Isle of Man 1, Charnock Richard 2. Crossed in from the right flank. Jacob Crook's crossing didn't have much pace on it from the left-hand side, but Sean Dahl managed to get a telling touch. It does take a big deflection of a Charnock Richard defender on the way through. And that wrong foot the Charnock Richard goalkeeper Ryan Hamer, who was rooted to the spot. He can only watch it roll agonisingly into his bottom left-hand corner. And with just under 3 minutes played in this second half, FC Isle of Man, despite a lacklustre first period, have found themselves a route back into the game, Tony. FC Isle of Man 1, Charnock Richard 2.
That's better. Get the delivery in there, Sean Doyle, and he did well as well, because he just headed it straight down to the right keeper, his right hand side, keeper's left hand side, and there we go. That'll give the players a massive boost.
Once again, and it's become a very familiar story in the last few weeks, have to fight their way back into the contest. Sherry gets it back from Whitley. Ball in field, finds Tom Creer on the halfway line. Short pass back to Danny Gerrard. Looks through the centre, intercepted by Fenton Davies. Clips it over the top of the defence. Nathan Nikias wants to get there. Over the top of Adam Killier, the goalkeeper. And Nathan Nikias has added a third for Charnock Richard. FC Alaman 1, Charnock Richard 3. They haven't threatened too much going forward in this second half, but it's their top scorer with his 34th goal of the season. Fenton Davies intercepted it in the centre of the park and clipped it over the FC Alaman defence. Nikias between the two centre halves. Adam Killier came out of his goalmouth, rushing out of his goalmouth for FC Alaman. Perhaps a rash decision in the end because it fell nicely to Nikias, who just lifted it over Killier and into the back of the net. And FC Alaman from a position of promise to try and get themselves back in the game. Have it all to do again, Tony. FC Alaman 1, Charnock Richard 3.
Good team goal, that really, Rob.
Sherry looks to the edge of the box. That's a comfortable claim for the Charnock Richard goalkeeper, Ryan Hamer. And again, Tony, we saw that long ball into the penalty area, but particularly maybe with the changes that FC Alaman have made in this second half, not too many to attack that high ball.
No, it isn't. And, when you look at Alex Maitland, Ryan Burns in there, it's a little bit different, isn't it, what you're approaching. But Sean Doyle, well marshalled by the boys, and they're on it now.
Matthew Davies, edge of the ball. Oh, that's deflected, and Nikias might have another here. It's 4. Well, Matthew Davies' effort from the right-hand side, initially saved by Killier, and Nikias got a touch onto it on its way through after Killier had saved it, and it's enough to turn it into the back of the net here. A couple of half-hearted appeals for an offside. Nothing from the referee or line, so they're not interested. And Charnock Richard have got themselves a fourth. FC Alaman 1, Charnock Richard 4, Tony Nikias with a second. Yeah, and
it was unfortunate, that one. You can't, Adam maybe have done a little bit better, but the ball, he was going one way and the ball went the other way.
Callum Sherry for FC Alaman on the halfway line. Arrows it out to the right-hand side. And that is the last action of the game here in what has been another night of horrors, really, for FC Alaman in some respects. Full-time in the NWCFL Premier Division. FC Alaman 1, Charnock Richard 4.
Manx Radio Sport.